Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Train Simulator Classic, aka Railworks. And today we're going to be taking a look at another freeware route. Well, freeware-ish. I do believe you need a couple of payware items for it to work. However, it is under the freeware route section of Railworks America, and as such, it's considered freeware. But we're going to take a look at it. I think it's pretty cool. This is the Columbia Valley Pacific Railway. Now, this has been up for a hot minute now. It's definitely not a new freeware route by any stretch. Matter of fact, to my knowledge, there's not any work being done on it. I don't know that anybody's doing any work on it anyway. I've had it for a while. I've enjoyed it for a while. I will say here and now that your mileage may or may not vary, because this route is really bad about out-of-memory errors. And I mean like awful about out-of-memory errors. This is the included free roam scenario with the route that we are on right now, so it is populated with what was previously placed, and so far I'm doing good. But I will say every time I've ever tried to edit this free roam scenario or make a new free roam scenario, I might get 10 minutes in, and that's a fat might. Huge chance that you're going to get an out-of-memory error. That being said, if you don't get an out-of-memory error, this route is a ton of fun. It's got just enough of really everything that you could really want in a route that's all freelanced. So it's not prototype specific. You can get away with running really anything. If you're into the transitional era, modern locomotives might look a little bit out of place, but if you're into transitions, early diesel, steam, this route's a ton of fun. It's got facilities for both. It's even got early electric, which we'll look at a little bit later on. But yeah, it's got passenger, it's got freight, it's got point A to point B freight, it's got mainline operations, it's got yard switching, road switching. I mean, it's got everything except for high-speed rail. And even then, it's not like it's a dead crawl route. I mean, I'm pretty sure the speed limit across most of the routes like 35 mile an hour, which is a pretty nice pace for a train simulator. I know some people like to be the speed demons, do the high speed everywhere, but me personally, I like the 35-40 mile an hour limit. That's kind of a happy place to be on a route that's not 200-300 miles long. It's not a massive route. You can definitely run this point end to end in a setting. If you're older like me, that's something you might be looking for with a nice freeware route. I do not have the manual pulled up, so I can't tell you the fictional history of the route, but we will fly along it and take a look at it. So this is, I see we're already going to have an issue with our missing turntable here into the void. Train Simulator Classic is this old, and this problem still has yet to be fixed. It's kind of impressive that people think Dovetail Games is ever going to fix shit. I don't know why I expect any different, but anyway, that little rant gone. So you'll notice right off the bat, it's a lot of detail. I'm here for it. I love the amount of detail put into this. It uses a lot of older G-Trax assets. Truth be told, it uses a lot of old assets in general. A lot of 2D trees, a lot of billboard trees, a lot of billboard bushes. But I will give credit where credit is due. They are used to good effect. The scenery fits, the era fits. There's cars here, there, and everywhere. There's trucks here, there, and everywhere. I mean, really the only thing I would complain scenery-wise that this route is missing is people. There's not a lot of characters around this route, which I know. For those of you that watch my videos, you'll know that's probably one of my #1 complaints when it comes to looking at routes uh, with really any train sim, whether it be trains or obviously railworks. The lack of people around routes kind of makes it feel like a model train simulator or just straight up dead. Um, but other than the lack of people, it's nicely populated. Again, cars are everywhere. Buildings are everywhere. There's no, like, empty sidings with nothing going on. Um, but this is our kind of your main yard area, your main staging area. This has the locomotive facilities. I'll pull up the map later whenever we do a short little operating session on here, because I could not pull off my top of my head what any of these places are without the map. But this is our main locomotive servicing facilities, your main little yard storage, and a few industries here. But this is not actually the beginning of the route. We're kind of one stop in. So we're gonna backtrack a little bit. Now, there is one glaringly, painfully obvious issue with this route, and I've had this problem for a very long time. I have read the manual. I know the manual, what the manual says. It says something about this weird see-through track where if you restart the game so many times, restart the route so many times, then this will fix itself. Yeah, I have not experienced that, but as you can see right through these tracks. I mean, right through them. And it irks the ever-loving snot out of me. Now, if you can get past this issue, this route's a lot of fun, without a doubt. But this is one of those, like, it's an issue that's so obvious that it's hard to overlook, especially when you're going through a bridge. You're looking down and there's nothing. This is like some old MSTS era stuff. I don't know what track he used, but it does not look good anymore. Unfortunately, I do not think any work is being done on this route anymore. I have not seen an update for it in a very long time, so this might be something that somebody else is going to have to come in and fix. But yeah, I hate this with a passion. And what's sad is you can see there is an underground here, but for some weird reason it is very much see-through. Anywho, enough about the track. It's painfully obvious. We all see it. Other than the track, we got some nice bridges, really nice scenery, lots of water. It's kind of a mountainous area, which is really nice. I like mountain routes. And it's a mountain route where the whole freaking route isn't at a dead pace crawl, which is really nice. Keep on oogieing and boogieing back here. Again, lots of older assets, usage of older assets, but credit where it's due. They are used appropriately, and they do look alright if one considers how old this route is. And to be perfectly honest, the default skybox for this route is not half bad either. I don't know why my AP weather pack has not been working the way it's supposed to lately, so I've had to kind of work with default packs. And for once, this default pack doesn't look half bad. Except the sun. The sun doesn't look particularly great. Come on, oogieing and boogieing. Little flag stop here with the passing track. Let's see, I like little things like this. We got these old road signs out here. We got a bit of a Y right here over a nice river canyon. Now this way, I believe it just goes to an end, which looks like our tunnel is a little bit odd here, but something is very much missing. But I do believe that this goes off into the oblivion. It does indeed. So that is your end of track going that way along the little stretch, I think. Again, it's kind of hard to see because, oh, here we go. Yeah, it looks like it just goes off into the oblivion. And then we can hop over here, follow the canyon a little bit. Again, really nice usage of bridges. These are fun looking bridges. I love the look. Fun little fishing shack over here, maybe minor. And we get to what is, I would consider, the end of the route. The actual end of the route, the actual beginning of the route. So back here is where it kind of goes off into the unknowns, your portal area, but this is kind of the start, the very beginning, the end of route. So we got a decent sized little train station here, kind of a little side town. Again, not half bad looking. Doesn't seem to be as filled in though. There's no parked cars, no people, no real literal clutter. But over here we got what looks like kind of a lumber industry, or a sawmill maybe, for producing different lumber products. So you got options for box cars and flat cars over here. And a turntable, probably for your passenger operations if you're running passenger trains. Turn your locomotive around. But that is the beginning of the route if you want to technically start from one end and then move along to the other. But the included free roam scenario is going to start you off here, which is your locomotive servicing and really your first major town. So while we're sitting here and staring at it, we'll go over some of the included rolling stock as well. Now, most of the stock is going to be old freeware Great Northerner stuff, which was fine for 2010, 2012. It really does not hold up to 2024 standards by any means of a long shot. It's just kind of okay looking. You stick it next to anything from like Diesel Workshop, Machine Rail, and whatnot, it's painfully obvious how old it is. There is an RS1 in CVP livery with driver and non-driver variants. The RS1 is RWA donation wear. I believe it's made by G-Trax. So quality is, it's alright. Again, it's not like, oh my gosh, downright phenomenal. It uses old sounds from the old freeware Alco S2. So that's unfortunate. The cab is pretty much copy paste from the old Alco RS, or the old Alco S2 that's freeware, minus, you look back and you see this hood here. But the overall model is pretty alright. Texturing is really old. I mean, the model's old, for lack of a better term. But it's not horrible. But this is one of the skins that you're going to get. We'll get a passenger car in CVP livery. Again, I think it's an old Great Northerner freeware, if I'm not mistaken. So lots of flat texturing, flat parts. Again, old model. You will not get a Caboose in CVP colors, I don't believe. Yeah, I think it just uses the gray Caboose from the RWA. And then obviously you're going to have some RWA rolling stock like gondolas here. Most of the freight is all RWA freight. And that is your included rolling stock. So let's continue. Boogity, boogity, boogity. It's a very scenic route. I mean, for lack of a better term, it really is very scenic. It just, gosh, that track is so distracting. Some of the scenery, again, could stand to be updated with something from like VP or the AP vegetation packs. Would certainly help out with the trees, but I will give the credit where it is due. Again, it is freeware, and the usage of freeware assets or included assets with the game is not half bad. So we come to one of our second little flag stops here. 40. Interesting. Now, another fair warning. The grades on this route are wild. And not smooth by any means of a long shot. Look at that drop. We go from this to that. That is a wild drop. Does it look half bad? Not necessarily, outside of the fact that the truck doesn't touch ground. And is it wildly wrong? Again, not necessarily. I actually have seen prototypical pictures of grades this steep on like logging railroads. This is kind of steep on a what's supposed to be a full-blown short line railroad. But you do have a couple little industries here. You've got a cattle industry, some boxcar stops, another little passenger station right here. And again, it's filled in pretty decently. Lack of people, bit disappointing. This is kind of a fun little scene right here, but with the barge. Doesn't quite fit in with all the rocks in the water, but you know, whatever. The barge is kind of cool though. Or water barge. And then we continue. Another little freight industry here, just kind of off to the side. Looks like gravel. This is where that road switching comes into play, because it's, you know, right here off main line. And wham bam, we got logging. So here's the beginning of our logging industry. We can bring down logs, unload them here. Various lumber products over here. It's kind of entertaining. This just kind of comes out here. Got what looks like a I don't know what this would be. Ties, steel, something. Little freight house right here. Hop back up here to the main line, and we got a water tower. We got a locomotive turntable right here. Got a little bit of a servicing spot, and then coal. It's a little bit of a coal industry right here. Another train station with a passing siding, passing track. So this is really your next major industrial area along the route, with your logging, all the coal, a couple of little minor industries as well. It is kind of funny that we have an unloading track for coal and then a loading track for coal, but you know, whatever. Kind of different. Town looks pretty good overall. It's got some cars, nice little like kind of main street thing here, but again, no people. A little bit sad. Continue along. Oh, it's so obvious with the see-through track right here. It's so upsetting that you look up like this and wham bam, there's a ground. I don't know what's wrong with the game, but it does not like that. Got a nice little tunnel here. Go up and over the mountains. Now, here's a spot that I think was supposed to be an expansion later on for like a logging line, and didn't get expanded on, unfortunately. Kind of makes me sad, because when this route was released, this would have been a cool use for those shays that are available from Brit Kits. Unfortunately, I highly doubt that that gets expanded on. Tunnel pops out. Got a nice bridge, a little snow shed over here. See right through it. Come over here. We got where this line starts. Again, I think this was supposed to be like a logging line expansion later on. A little bit of got a water tower here. Got siding there, and the line goes up the mountain there. We really get into the canyon here. This is kind of fun. I think this route tickles my fancy so much because it kind of reminds me of the Durango and Silverton. The way it sits in between the mountains and follows a river. Obviously a lot more freight options than the DNR, or the DNS. Got a little flag stop here. I assume that it's for kind of like a, like there's logging all up in here or something. That's where you get off the train, but a fun little spot with passing siding. Another flag stop, another passing siding, kind of small. And we get to one of the biggest industries on the line. This is a real cool one too. I've never seen this done before in Train Sim, and I've never seen it done since, as far as American stuff goes. But it's kind of cool, to say the least. We haven't. Well, I lied. I lied a little bit. The oh heck, the Sacramento Northern has kind of a similar setup on one side of the route, but we got a nice big yard here for swapping out cars and whatnot, and then we have, I believe, like an electrical industry, like a power industry, powerhouse or something, or a mill. Might be a mill, might be. It's a major manufacturing area. We got steel over here. We got something going on here, and this whole area here is electrified. To use the you can get away with something like the steeple cabs from Sacramento Northern. I don't know why they didn't bother making this electrify run back to here, so that you can run the electric locomotives all in this area right here. You're kind of limited in how you can use the electric locomotives, but you can pull off over to here. You got this roundabout over here. It's a great big loop. Storage, all kinds of stuff. Kind of a little operation within an operation. Really cool. I can appreciate the usage. I like the way that it's set up for the little electric locomotives. That's why I think it's something like I don't know if it's, I think it's just a little bit of everything. I mean, we got steel over there, we got coal over here, we got tankers here, boxes all over. I mean, there's a lot of everything. but really neat. My only complaint here is I do kind of think that this electrified system here should have stretched, you know, back to this point here so that you can make full use of the yard here using an electric locomotive, and then have this as your interchange. But, you know, whatever. Nice size train station. Now it is kind of funny that there's not much fill in here for it to be such a large spot on the route. Not a lot of cars, not a lot of people, not a lot of clutter. So it is a spot that could definitely stand to have some fill in, some more stuff around it to make it look active, busy. But it's still really cool. I do think it's really cool. Another turntable. Fun looking water tower. And we continue. Got another split here. It runs over to here to kind of a little gravel pit. I noticed that. Floating gravel right there, but continue again and boogieing. And another decent sized mine. It's kind of entertaining that the cars are loaded with coal, but that's definitely not coal on the ground. However, it does look cool. The whole mine itself looks cool. It's got options for both truck and train with connection, which is something a lot of people tend to miss when they do a mine. When we get up to here, got another kind of major spot-ish on the route. We got a small locomotive servicing facility here. A couple small, kind of like a maintenance away siding. Small, maybe storage facility. Kind of interchange. Ah, this is the logging line. This is where the logging expansion was supposed to be. So we got, this is where your log cars are supposed to get interchanged. Loaded and unloaded. And then it goes off into here and then just kind of ends. Kind of sad. I think it would be kind of a fun operation within an operation. Go along with the big industry back there. But, you know, it is neat. Continuing along. And we get to the end of the route. Or the other end of the route. Yard here. And the track goes off into the unknowns back here. It's actually one of my favorite spots on the route. It's one of my favorite spots in a route in general. I kind of think this whole area is really cool. But we got plenty of freight. Plenty of switching opportunities, different freights and whatnot. And then we go down this little side track here. We have a barge, a rail barge over here, swapping out coal cars. We got a little pier here for fish products and whatnot. And then we got our train station at Adams Bay. With a nice big paddle wheel steamboat. And then some fruit industries back here. Again, the scenery looks a little old, low res, blurry texturing, but it is pretty neat overall. That is a really neat idea. Gosh, if this got updated to today's standards, wow, this would be really phenomenal. Love this area though. It's one of those really neat spots. It is okay filled in-ish. None of the houses have any cars, but you know, the industries over here do. Train station, town does. Again, could stand to be filled in a little bit more, but not half bad. Really nice base. And that is point A to point B on the Columbia Valley Pacific Railway. Really, really cool route. Awesome for freeware. I mean, it just... We don't see this kind of work put into payware routes anymore. It feels like it's kind of wild that this is a freeware route done up this well for how old it is. Again, some things haven't aged very well. Obviously the track being one of the biggest glaring issues. Oh gosh. The track's the biggest glaring problem with the route, in my opinion. If the track got replaced with something that I can't see through, that'd be the best thing in the world. I would love this route. Let's run a little passenger train here for giggles and squiggles. Sure, track setup so we ain't run into anything. It is a little bit dated, without a doubt. With a interesting horn chord. I wonder if I can see that object stick through the camera. No? Yes. Motor control, marker lights, window lights, cab lights. Here. Front headlight. Fuel pump, control, start. Credit where it's due. It's a fairly interactive locomotive, but get a kick out of this. I assume this is your MU control here, and it is indeed attached to the throttle, so it does move, but the 2D texture kind of kills it. You also don't have a speedometer here. Marker lights, switch, but no marker lights. Pull up the up here so we can see how fast we're going. Again, I don't think it's 25 mile an hour across most of the route, but I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's 35. I think we just have a 25 section because of this. Yeah, it jumps up. It's 40. It might be 40 across most of it. Gosh, I'd like to see this route updated. This is really quite nice. There are a couple other reskins out there available for the CVP as well, using Great Northerner locomotives. I believe there's a GP7, GP9 maybe. It might be an SD series, maybe one of the SD7s or SD9s, I'm not sure. But the RS1 is what is included. I have a lot of fun with the smoke box consolidation on here. It's a locomotive that fits in really, really well on this route. If you're lucky enough to still have it, the IHH consolidation also fits in pretty well. Machine rails. B&O tank locomotive fits in pretty good. The Sierra 10-wheeler fits in alright. Kind of fits the vibes, but of course the RS1 here that we've got, any of the machine rail RS3s, the matter of fact, the Baldwin AS616s would fit in really good on this route. Of course, the steeple cabs from Sacramento Northern for your electric plant. The 44 tonners from DTM are a nice fit. Way outdated, but I think there's a reskin for it available for this route. Let's see what else out there really fit in quite nice. Of course, GP9s. Yeah, really any of the 4-axle diesel locomotives will fit in pretty well on this route. Any of your smaller steam locomotives will fit in really well on this route. Large stuff kind of look out of place. I love that locomotive 2 here is not running at all, but it's got exhaust coming. Now we have an idle sound. Weird. We'll probably boogie on up to here and call it for this video. We've been here for a minute now. I don't want to get too terribly long. But you excuse the loudmouth kitty man in the background. I think the world revolves around here. Pretty sure that horn is from one of the sound packs I've installed. The freight sounds, I'm pretty sure, Krell Nut. Freight sounds. He's so annoying. I haven't used this in a long time, so I don't think I ever noticed that. As you can see, the route actually doesn't run half bad. The track's relatively smooth. Not much grade-wise along the main line. The real weird grades are when you get off into the yards there. The route runs quite smooth. Oh. That's interesting. Why should I do that? Uh-oh. Oh, gosh. Again, some of this stuff is old, for lack of a better term. Still grab some brakes. There's a running position on an Alco. Interesting. Oh, none of the gauges have needles. I just noticed that. Yeah, block crossing. And that is how the route runs. Pretty decent. Decent. Now, luckily, with the older use of assets, my frame rates are glorious. So the route runs really smooth. But anywho, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Link in the description on where you can pick this up. It is available as freeware on Railworks America. Do be sure to read the manual, as there are updates in the manual that you will need. But anywho's, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.